So we need to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that most business owners make with their LinkedIn profiles. And this is because when somebody actually searches for your name on Google, your LinkedIn profile comes up as the first result 99 times, if not 100 times out of 100. And this is because of the way that the Google algorithm works. So what this means is that even though you don't know it, Google actually punishes a poor profile. And the reason is because people judge you. They judge the quality of your professional services and your products by how good or how poor your profile is. So obviously, I'm going to tell you what the mistakes are, then I'll tell you how to avoid them, and of course, how to fix them, and then how to generate between 1 and 2 appointments a week from your optimized LinkedIn profile in just a few minutes a day. So I'm James Malfetus, a lead and client generation expert specializing in LinkedIn. I'm also a best-selling author, and I've published 5 books on sales funnels and marketing and on LinkedIn. And the first LinkedIn book that I published is called Regular Client LinkedIn Power Profile. And that's a little bit about what today's video is all about. The second book is called Regular Clients from LinkedIn. And this teaches you a system to get consistent leads every week. And we found that most people are able to generate at least 2 clients per month from the system itself. Now, I actually help people who sell to other businesses, but while I do that, I specialize in helping accountants and financial advisors to get clients. And this is because I am a reformed accountant, right? So don't feel sorry for me. I left the profession in 2011. And this was actually due to losing my practice in the aftermath of the 2010 recession, because we lost a bunch of key clients and neither myself nor my partners knew how to replace these clients. And because of that, this is why I do what I do today, because this led me to become a lead generation specialist, because I swore that that would never happen to me again. I also coach individuals and I coach teams on how to build systems to generate leads and clients from LinkedIn. I also help people to write their profiles and teach good messaging techniques. And I even have a service where I write the profiles and messages for people. Having said that, I like to focus on networking and actually building much longer term relationships. I'm the father of 2 teenagers and I enjoy the art of magic. I just have to tell you, my teenagers, one knows everything and the other one knows, well, almost everything. And I have the great misfortune of supporting some very questionable sports teams such as Ferrari and Formula One and Manchester United. Now, let's talk about the 5 mistakes. You probably know what the top 5 mistakes are, but the devil is really in the detail. And if you're still making them, just knowing what they are is not enough. Please go ahead and fix them immediately after watching this video. So very quickly, the mistakes are: number 1, not having a cover photo, which some people will call a cover banner, or actually just having a poor cover photo. Secondly, not having a profile picture, or again, having a poor profile picture. The third mistake is having a very poor headline that doesn't do you any favors. The fourth mistake is not having an about section, or again, having a poor about section. And the last key mistake is having an inadequate or a poor experience section, both for your current experience as well as your prior experiences. So let's have a look at mistake number 1, having no or having a poor cover image. LinkedIn actually gives you very few opportunities to differentiate yourself. And that's because of the rigid nature of the LinkedIn profile, the template that we use to fill them in. So the one opportunity that you do get is by having the ability to upload your own branded cover image. So it's obviously a mistake not to take advantage of this opportunity, because it's literally the first thing that people see when they land on your profile. And most people, probably 2/3 of people, are actually more visually orientated. So what that means is that they remember a lot more of what they see as opposed to what they read. And a good banner also lets people know in a heartbeat that they're in the right place, i.e., you are uniquely positioned to help them. So let's have a look at some examples of this particular mistake. So when you don't take advantage of the opportunity to upload your own branded banner, you'll automatically have that gray default banner, which makes you look like everybody else. The other thing is having a nondescript banner that really doesn't do anything for you. So how about this one? It's just a gray background. It's like, why bother? And it's very similar to, the LinkedIn banner. Have a look at this one, though. This one does have an image, but it's a really poor quality image. And quite honestly, looking at that image, we have no idea what the person does. This one here has got some motivational text on it. And I'm a big fan of text on the banner, by the way, but I still have no idea what you do or how you can help me. So what's the cost of this mistake? Well, today people have got very short attention spans. So When you don't let people know that they're in the right place within a few seconds, or maybe even within 1 second, there's a very good chance that they're simply going to click off your profile and go to a competitor. So the way that you avoid this mistake is by actually having a banner that does two things. Firstly, have an image on the banner that's going to convey what your business does or what it's about. And secondly, you should have a little bit of text on the banner telling your ideal clients exactly what you can do for them. If you're the DIY kind of person, you can use a program like Canva or even good old PowerPoint, right? So that you can go and create your own banner. My advice to you is just outsource it to somebody who's probably better at this than you are. Find a graphic designer and let them just do the job for you. So mistake number 2 is not having a professional photo or having a very poor professional photo. LinkedIn is a very personal and professional network, right? And by not having a professional profile photo of yourself, you're actually damaging your brand and running the risk that people are already going to doubt that you're a real person. And this problem is getting worse and worse with the advent of AI and automation. And now you've got a lot of bots that are actually going ahead and creating these fake profiles. So again, some examples of this mistake. Well, again, the worst thing that you can do is to have no profile picture, right? Because you are more than 20 times less likely to have people accept your connection request if you don't have a photo. Now, people want to know who they're dealing with, right? They want to see the real, authentic you. So other poor photo choices include things like being at a party or pictures with your significant other or your child or your pet. Now, there's a place for those images and those photos, but it's not in your profile pic, right? So please do not put it there. You need to put your best professional foot forward. The other one is digital images or company logos or just nondescript images. Like looking at those images there, would you want to connect with anybody that had those images as a profile picture? Also, you don't want your head to be too big, right? So, we have that little circle that we can display our head in. Don't cut it off because it kind of looks a little bit odd and weird. And of course, the other mistake is for it to be too small, right? So you don't want to have those long body shots. In this particular example, stay away from all those blurry photos and just make sure that you also stay away from photos that do not show your face, right? It's important that people can see the expression that you have. So what's the cost of this mistake? Well, people will simply not take you seriously. They're not going to accept your connection requests. They won't answer your messages. They won't even consider hiring you, even if you're the best in the world at what you do. They won't even take a second to look at your profile anymore. They're simply just going to click away. So obviously, you want to avoid the mistake by just making sure that your professional image is on your profile ASAP. And the good news is that this is probably the easiest of the mistakes to fix. The best thing that you can do is to have a professional photographer take the pictures for you because they know exactly how to get you to pose and they're really, really good when it comes to lighting. If not, just get a friend to take a pic with one of today's good smartphones, stand against a clear wall and just simply smile. Having a great profile pic today is essential. So make sure that you get the best version of yourself up on your profile as soon as you possibly can. The third mistake is having a poor or an ineffective headline. Your headline is the single most important piece of text on your profile. Let me say that again. Your headline is the single most important piece of text on your profile. It's displayed in so many places when people do either a LinkedIn or a Google search. So every time someone sees it, it builds and then it reinforces your brand. So by not using it for your elevator pitch, you're wasting a chance to guide the conversation, right? From the very start, you're actually missing out on informing readers how you can help them. So let's have a look at some examples of this particular mistake. So the classic example is just repeating your job title or listing the company that you work for. So, you might say something like financial advisor at XYZ company. Now, unless you work for a very well-known company, I hate to break this to you, but nobody cares that you are the CEO of XYZ Company Limited. Nobody has even heard of this. Nobody cares, right? How do you help them? Nobody knows. Have a look at this one, right? This description, director of companies. This doesn't help either because what companies are you a director of? Again, do I care? No. All I want to know is how can you help me? So what's the cost of this mistake? Well, if your headline is poor and nondescript, nobody else is going to care. People won't accept your connection request. They won't click through your profile. And when they do happen to land on your profile, they'll just click off. They're going to bounce and they'll bounce within seconds. They need to be able to determine that you are useful to them. So in short, nobody will speak to you. So you avoid this mistake by being relevant. Now, there are many ways for you to be relevant to your prospects, your clients, and obviously your LinkedIn connections. Just make sure that your headline shows this relevance. And honestly, the easiest way to do that and to fix this mistake is to simply restate your elevator pitch or your USP, your unique selling proposition. So in essence, you call out to your target market and you tell them exactly what you can do for them. The fourth mistake is not having an ineffective about section. Now, something you've got to understand is that LinkedIn has actually modeled its profile on the success of the modern day website. So statistically, when analyzing every single site across the internet, the first page that people click on after landing on the homepage, in other words, when they have their first free choice for the first click, they go to the About section. And this is why the About section is so prominent on your LinkedIn profile. The most obvious example of this mistake is not having an About section at all. Or, of course, having just a few lines of text that really don't tell the prospects much about you. Here's the thing. LinkedIn has given you 2,600 characters. That includes spaces, by the way. And you should use every single one of them. So what's the cost of the mistake? Well, you're going to lose out on the most valuable tool that you've got to bond with your prospect. So a good about section gets like-minded people to resonate with you. And for us, as people that are selling something, what it does is it shortens the sales cycle. And this is because most people are going to connect with you and they'll agree to a consultation or a conversation with you much earlier in the process. So a good about section starts the relationship, and you're going to find more and more people are going to give you an opportunity to put in a proposal to become their service provider of choice. So how do you avoid the mistake? Well, make sure that you firstly activate the about section on your profile. And then just think about what your prospects need to know about you, to bond with you, and to trust you enough to accept your connection request, obviously then to agree to a consultation, and ultimately to hire you. To give you a bit of a tip, the most important thing you can do is to answer the 2 why questions. So the first question is, well, why do you do what you do? And then secondly, why have you chosen to do it for the particular market that you've chosen to serve? So how do you fix a mistake? Well, when you're creating your about section, just try to include some of the following things. The critical problems that you've identified that you solve. Also, why should you be the service provider of choice? Show them that you understand them by talking about their business or their industry and some of the issues that they have, and make sure that you have a very clear call to action. In other words, tell them what you want them to do. Mistake number 5, the last big mistake, is having a poor current experience section. So again, continuing our website analogy, the experience section on LinkedIn is kind of like the products and services page on your website. So the main thing that people want to see is whether you can solve the problem that they have or not. And so this is why a list of the products and services that you provide is probably the most valuable thing that you can include in your experience section. So some examples of the mistake. Well, again, the worst thing that you can do is not to write any description at all of your current experience. And if you're a business owner, you don't want it to look like you've copied and pasted your CV or your resume. You need a sales page. You don't need a job. What I also see is that sometimes people go and they'll copy and paste some information about what their company does, and they just grab it off the company website, and often it's so bland and boring, and it really just doesn't give your prospects any insight into what you can do for them or who you are and how you can solve their problems. The biggest cost of this mistake is that you'll lose sales, plain and simple. So think of your experience section as a last stop. If people have been drawn in by your banner, have been captivated by your headline or your value proposition, as we discussed, and your about section has really resonated with them, then the only thing that's probably stopping them from making contact with you is because they just haven't seen evidence of the fact that you're actually able to solve their problem. So how do you go ahead and avoid the mistake? Well, make sure that you've completed your experience section in a way that tells your prospects what you could do for them. Again, you've got 2,000 characters at your disposal. Please use every single one of them. So how do we fix the mistake? Well, when you see people face to face, it's easy. You can judge from their body language or their facial expressions that they need more information. But you don't have this luxury when they're reading your profile at 3 a.m. So what you want to do is do this sort of comprehensive brain dump and just list as many of your products and services as you can. So at this stage, often people want to know how they can go ahead and work with me. And honestly, the best thing that you can do is to jump onto a call with me so I can get to know you and just find out a little bit more about your business, and then I'll point you in the right direction. If I can't help you, I'll let you know and I'll recommend some alternate solution for you. So if you go to regularclients.com/chat, you can book a free complimentary session. There's no obligation. Let's just have a chat. If you're a do-it-yourselfer kind of person, you can obviously pick up copies of my books and you can dive in there. And what I find is that most people actually want a little bit of personal help. And so there's a few ways that we can help you with that. The first is we have one-on-one and group workshops, and those range anywhere from just an hour to a day to over 6 weeks, right, where we have weekly sessions. Probably the most powerful session that we have is our comprehensive one-day workshop that really accelerates the process. We also help you to write your profile and write the messaging. So there's the initial connection message and then the follow-up message, which we like to call the thanks for connecting message, because we find that people are not very good at messaging, and the money really is in the messaging, and people don't like writing about themselves. So if you want any help with that, we can do that for you. Lastly, if you are really focused on using LinkedIn to actually grow your business, to get 2 to 5 leads a week, which, as I say, should easily translate into at least 2 clients a month, the best thing that we can help you with there is some one-on-one training where we actually help you to build the systems that can do that for you. And it's a very, very personalized experience. I've got one bonus tip for you. How do you book between 1 and 2 weekly appointments? Well, as you know, everybody needs a good profile. So once you've got one, it's so easy to generate 1 to 3 appointments a week. And the process is really simple. It looks something like this. Step 1 is you want to use the LinkedIn filters to find 100 targeted prospects every single week, and then you send them a connection request. Really as simple as that. Send them the connection request, and then of course a number of those people will accept your connection request, and then what you do is you follow up and you send them a thanks for connecting message. So you're essentially sending just 2 messages, connection request and a thanks for connecting. And then honestly, step 3 is simply reply to the messages that your connections will send you. Now here's the great part about this. Many of them will actually ask you for a consultation. You can offer this consultation free to your connections, and people who are actually interested in your products and services will actually accept your consultation. Now, on the consultation, guess what? Just answer the questions like you ordinarily would. Just solve their problem. Now, here's why this works. There are always between 1 and 3%, and we found with our system it probably bumps it up to 5%, but between 1 and 3% of your target market that are looking to buy your products and services at any given time. Right? And in fact, it doesn't matter what your products and services are. So what you want to do is just to follow the system consistently. If you're consistent, you will get between 1 and 3 new appointments every single week. It's just a numbers game. So as we close, let me give you some of the biggest quick wins that you can get out of your newly upgraded LinkedIn profile. So firstly, you want to clearly define your offer. This is really going to help you to write that killer value proposition that we spoke about, your headline. Here's the thing. Make sure that you have just one key offer on your LinkedIn profile. Do not confuse people. State the benefits of this offer as opposed to all the other quote-unquote stuff that they get when they work with you. Then, once you've done that, you can now clearly define your target market. So you do that based on your offer. You determine who is going to be the best candidate to benefit from your offer. So ask yourself, right? Who do you have the best chance of helping to get the best results from the product or service? And then what you do is you build your profile, your messaging, and your entire marketing strategy around that. Lastly, consistency is the key. So once you have your regular client profile, simply send out 100 connection requests to your perfect prospects every week, and you will pick up appointments, as we've said. And the reason for this is when you send a connection request, those people go and they look at your profile, which we have just perfected. So when they go there, it's like your silent salesperson. They can see that 24 hours a day. And as we said, statistically, regardless of what market you're in, there's always 1 to 3% of people that are looking. And so just by being consistent, you will pick up consultations. Lastly, thank you so much for watching this video. Please go and implement everything. What I want to suggest to you is jump onto a free call with me. As I said, go to regularclients.com/chat. That's obviously the website, regularclients.com. You can email me at james@regularclients.com. The best, of course, though, is to connect with me on LinkedIn. So it's linkedin.com, James Molfetus. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please just go fix these mistakes, and then you can really just be consistent, send out those 100 connection requests every single week, and you will actually be able to use your LinkedIn profile to get new clients. But whatever you do, fix your profile, because remember, LinkedIn is punishing you if you have a poor profile. Lastly, I hope to see you on one of the chats, either connecting with me on LinkedIn or just go to regularclients.com /chat, and I'll be happy to have a chat to you.